Welcome to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. And inside Value City Arena here in Columbus, Ohio, we've got 2-seed Ohio State and 7-seed Duke in the final home game for J.C. Sheldon and her sister Emmy Sheldon, taking on the Duke Blue Devils for a trip to the Sweet 16. A look at our updated bracket. The winner of this game will get the winner of UConn and Syracuse next weekend in the Sweet 16 in Portland. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher alongside Megan McEwen. Two great defensive teams. In fact, Megan, both teams led their conferences in scoring defense over the course of the regular season. So, what separates these two teams today?
This game's going to come down to pace of play. Duke is elite defending in the half court, getting the passing lanes and keeping teams to one and done. Ohio State suffocating with the press. They want to get out and run early and often.
You know who was elite yesterday for the Duke Blue Devils? Reagan Richardson, her second 25-point game of the season.
It felt like there was a point on Friday's game where Reagan Richardson couldn't miss a shot. She was elite at getting things going offensively, spreading the floor and allowing her team to be able to get to the basket because she was hitting outside shots. On the other hand, for Ohio State, it is all about J.C. Sheldon and her ability to play both offense and defense. Offensively, she is an elite decision maker at when it's time to pass to her teammates and when it's time to keep it for herself. She can knock down the three and spread that floor. She can also get all the way to the rim with her quickness. Oh, and she's always ready to turn around and get ready to press.
Well, that is why she is the subject of our reliable player, brought to you by Xfinity. Just 5 points away from passing Taylor Hill to 6th all-time in Ohio State scoring. We chatted with her head coach, Kevin McGuff, a moment ago.
Coach, you're about to go up against one of the best scoring defenses in the country. How do you attack them on offense?
Well, we've got to be real careful with the ball today and make sure that we really move the ball, set great screens, and really attack them in space because they are really an elite defensive team.
They're an elite defensive team, but as are you with that press. What's going to be key to speeding them up and turning them over?
Well, one thing I saw the other day, too, they really inbound the ball quickly. So we've got to get organized just as fast as they're trying to get the ball in to make sure they don't get the ball up the court before we're organized in the press.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck.
Let's take a look at today's Capital One starting lineups for Duke, replacing 3 starters from a year ago. What a season for the Blue Devils, now with 21 wins. And for Ohio State, 4 of 5 starters back from last year's Elite 8 team. The lone starter who isn't, Celeste Taylor, who today plays against her former team. And it's Ohio State winning the tip. And the home whites taking on Duke in the road blues. Here is Cody McMahon. All-American honorable mention with an and one to start the game.
Cody McMahon's game has matured so much from freshman to sophomore year. Her freshman year, she would put her head down and get a ton of charges called because she'd go in out of control. But this time, she stays balanced, going straight up and down towards the rim. So she avoids initiating that contact and gets that and one opportunity.
You said something funny yesterday to Kevin McGuff when talking about Cody McMahon. She had a quiet 13 in the win against Maine.
It's one of those games you look down the stat sheet and you go, oh, wow, you scored in double figures. She does her work at so many good times when it comes to dictating when to keep it for herself and when to pass it.
Alucia Kanawa is on the board for Duke, the ACC 6th Player of the Year, getting the start today in the round of 32. And inside to J.C. Sheldon, knocked out of bounds by Jaden Donovan. Sheldon, 3rd in the Big Ten this year in scoring, and a semifinalist for Naismith National Player of the Year. And the tail of the tape, we told you about it in the open. These two teams with elite defenses as Rebecca Nikolashikova floats it in over Kennedy Brown.
It is going to be key for Duke to get the ball out and go as quickly as possible. Coach McGuff told us in the game he was worried that would happen.
Celeste Taylor picks the pocket of her former team and lays it in.
And it's not always the first line of defense in the press. That back line is so dangerous at reading the eyes of the person passing the ball. Celeste Taylor has gotten a couple of pick sixes over the course of this tournament.
And it'll go back the other way to the Buckeyes.
She was the ACC Player of the Year. Now she's the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Celeste Taylor reading that like a D-back in coverage, picking it off and running it home for the pick six.
We asked Celeste about playing her former team. She said, guys, I have no bad blood with Duke. Loved my time there. Had nothing but high things to say about the Blue Devils. But it was time for a change and has found a great home here in Columbus for her final season of college basketball. Sheldon with 5.
Duke doing a nice job switching on the perimeter. Did not allow Ohio State to have an open lane driving.
Richardson off the mark. Celeste Taylor on the ground trying to come away with it. And a jump ball will keep it here with Duke, coached by Kara Lawson in her 4th season. Coming off a trip to the NCAA tournament a year ago. Had to replace so much, Megan, including Celeste Taylor, now at Ohio State. 8 freshmen and sophomores for Kara Lawson's team, who played the 4th toughest schedule in the country this year. But they've gotten great play this season by Reagan Richardson, 2nd team All-ACC.
Richardson has such a calm demeanor on the floor. Her ability to just get to her spots, knock down that short corner jumper, that was her bread and butter against Richmond, and something she's already getting going today.
It's a Duke team that finished middle of the pack in the ACC, but had major wins in the conference, including taking down UNC, a tournament team, and of course NC State during the regular season. And coming in off a win against Richmond, a game in which they trailed by 9 at the half, but Megan totally flipped it on the Spiders in the 2nd half.
It got flipped because Duke got every single offensive rebound they possibly could get their hands on in that 2nd half. They quickly erased a 9-point deficit, came back, took a double-digit lead, and never looked back. Duke's ability to keep teams to one and done and then finish possessions makes them so dangerous. You speak to the fact they finished in the middle of the pack of the ACC. The ACC was arguably the best women's basketball conference. You're saying finishing in the middle of the pack, that's like finishing in the top 3 in most other power conferences.
No doubt. Rebecca Mikolashikova at the line for 2 shots. What a year she's had. Came off the bench last season from February on, and then this year moved back into the starting lineup, has started every game for Ohio State. And her efficiency offensively has been nothing short of spectacular.
She's in the 50%, 40% from 3, 90% from the line club, the elusive efficiency club, and her ability now to play inside has made her so dangerous for the Buckeyes. She doesn't just pick and pop anymore.
Richardson step back. And rebound, Cody McMahon wants to run. Mikolashikova. Sheldon tracks down the loose ball. Taylor a reload. And a great rebound by Hayden Donovan, one of the most athletic players in college basketball. Here comes Taylor, takes it all the way.
That was a nice shot by Taylor attacking. Mayer came down to cut off that angle, but still Celeste Taylor is able to keep her shoulders square to the basket. Oh my goodness.
Celeste Taylor wreaking havoc.
She has the most active hands. Her arms are constantly in motion. It's so difficult to find the right timing to pass them, and you have Celeste Taylor all up in your grill.
Cody McMahon off the bounce, rejected by Donovan, but got her with the body. And that is the 3rd team foul on Duke.
Cody McMahon doing a great job driving, getting to the basket. The more Ohio State can establish that inside game, they can get the outside game going. How about the home run pass from J.C. Sheldon? That was a key for the Buckeyes. They want to keep Duke to one and done, and then they want to get out and run. A faster pace is going to favor the Buckeyes and how they press and like to turn their defense into offense.
Well, you mentioned it. Kevin McGuff told his team yesterday at the practice, you want to win this game, win the rebounding battle. Because Duke out-rebounded Richmond 40-22 and scored 22 second chance points to the Spiders 3.
It was wild to watch that second half against Richmond for Duke, and you can see Ohio State's press and what they have done over the course of this tournament so far. Really impressive with their ability to constantly bait teams into trying to pass it up the floor, and that second line defense is sitting right there. It's like they come out of nowhere and they're stealing the ball.
That's how Maine felt in the first round, as Taina Mayer was fouled, and so free throws coming. First foul on J.C. Sheldon. This Ohio State team handled business against 15-seed Maine, 80-57 in the first round. Maine, top 15 in the country in fewest turnovers, Megan. Ohio State forced them into a season-high 22 en route to the win.
And that'll happen when you play Ohio State. Their ability to cut down angles, but it's how quickly they turn around and get set up in the press. Yes, they can make a shot, and you can try to get the ball up as fast as possible, but those players are constantly ready to turn around and defend.
For the fourth straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Mayer makes all three on the All-ACC freshman team a season ago at Boston College, and the only point guard Kara Lawson talked to in the portal this offseason. Five-point Buckeye lead. McMahon, well defended by Delaney Thomas, and the rebound Kennedy Brown.
Kennedy Brown doing a nice job keeping Mikulashkova off the boards with that box out.
Mayer off the bounce and draws another foul. Back to the free throw line for Mayer when we return.
Taina Mayer constantly making the right decision with the ball in her hands. Ohio State off to a fast start, coming off of the rebound. Get things going quickly. J.C. Sheldon looking like a quarterback out in the field. Buckeyes rolling early in this one.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Emmy Sheldon, sister of OSU legend J.C. Sheldon, is a legend in her own right here with the OSU program, has been a staple on their sidelines. And although this is J.C.'s final game at the Shot, Kevin McGuff told us he's hoping Emmy sticks around for a few more years.
It's also Emmy's final game at the Shot, but all I'm saying is Coach McGuff, find a spot for her on staff. Can you imagine the NIL deals Emmy Sheldon could possibly pick up around town? But what's so cool about Emmy Sheldon is how Ohio State has embraced her. And, you know, Emmy lives with Down syndrome, and JC has been such a great sister to her. And the love that this team has for Emmy and how they feel so blessed to be able to come out and play basketball every single day with Emmy backing them is really special.
Big reason why JC decided to stay in her home state from Dublin, Ohio. Her parents in attendance, sitting next to Emmy on a backdoor feed. Taylor lost it. And McMahon draws a foul on Reagan Richardson.
Ohio State's moving the ball around the perimeter quickly, which you have to do against Duke's defense. Whoa. Well, you have, I don't think I've ever seen a foul like that before. Richardson just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Cody McMahon's ready to rock today. She's got her Grinch Kobe's on. And, you know, you referenced a quiet, quote-unquote, quiet 13 for her in their opening round win. There's very few things that she does quietly on the basketball floor.
Not at all. And her ability to play down in the paint makes her so dangerous to stop. And this is the next level of her game she's at that mid-range jumper, because she wants to get on the floor and drive in. Players are going to give her a step, so she started to make that mid-range. It's special.
Second steal of the game for Celeste Taylor. Duke without a field goal in nearly the last 4 minutes. They've gotten 4 points at the free throw line from Taina Mayer. Need a bucket here. Mayer tries a three. And What a rebound effort by Akanawa, who looked like an acrobat coming down on both hands.
Akanawa Aluchi is one of the hardest players to stop when it comes to defending, but take a look at Cody McMahon, that ability and that awareness to hit it when you have a step and you have the space. Aluchi Akanawa is one of the hardest players to stop. We talked to Kara Lawson about this. She said over the summer, nobody could box her out and guard her, and she yelled at her team to box her out. Then she watched her in the season and said, okay, Akanawa is actually hard to box out. I believe my players now. She is so active on the boards for Duke.
Sheldon still scoreless until now, sticking with it.
How does she hold on to that ball?
How does she do a lot of the things that she does? Projected top 10 WNBA draft pick whenever this season ends for the Buckeyes. Inside to Brown. 5 to shoot. Mayer with 2. Really well defended by Celeste Taylor. She wanted a shot clock violation. Taylor a 3.
Duke has to have better spacing offensively. They were all on top of each other last possession. They have to spread the floor and spread Ohio State's defense out to have some room to move.
Akanawa stops, pops, and travel.
I don't understand how J.C. Sheldon kept this ball alive last possession. Oh, loses it, gets it back. Right place at the right time, J.C. Sheldon. And she's always constantly waiting to turn around and play defense. So boom, loses the ball. Yep, there it goes. And less than a second later, she's turned around, ready to press.
Well, that's what Kevin McGuff told you. With how quickly Duke inbounds the basketball, his players need to be ready to set up that press. J.C. Sheldon is the tip of the spear.
When Duke has been able to break this press, it's because they're getting the ball up the floor as quickly as possible.
Camilla Emsbo into the game for the first time for Duke, wearing 21. Transferring over from Yale. And the three-point woes continue for both teams. They're now a combined 0 for 9 from distance.
In order to get the three-point shot going, you have to establish an inside game because the defense has to be collapsed enough for your shooters on the perimeter to have time to get the shot off. Both Ohio State and Duke have to find a way to get paint touches.
Ohio State winning that category right now, outscoring Duke 10-2 in the paint. As they go back to McMahon, hanging in the air, double clutch and good.
Cody McMahon is so strong and balanced. She could be fading away, but her shoulder stays square, and she's been in the weight room all summer long.
No Duke field goals in the last 6 minutes and counting. Where do you go offensively if you're the Blue Devils?
You got to get the ball inside. Try to find a way to get some points on the board by getting fouled.
Mayer slips it in to Emsbo, and there you go, Megan McEwen. She draws a foul, and 2 shots coming.
When your offense isn't flowing as a team, you have to find ways to stop the clock and get points on the board by getting fouled, getting to the line. Taina Mayer is elite at getting her teammates the ball in positions to be successful. And right there, Emsbo taking the contact from Parks.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship first round and second round continue today on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For more information on tournament times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Emsbo missed them both. And it has been tough sledding offensively for Duke. You know, we saw this yesterday, or 2 days ago rather, from Duke in the second quarter against Richmond. They went 1 for 14 from the floor, but stayed in contact. Megan, they only trailed by 9 at the break. So they could really use some defense to offense here.
That's where they've excelled all season long. Wow.
What a feed. Sheldon to Parks. And a beautiful press break by the Buckeyes.
If you can move the ball quickly, and this goes for both Duke and Ohio State, you can get layups on the other end in these presses.
Less than a minute to go in the first quarter. Mayer defended by Madison Green. Emsbo with three to Thomas, who was fouled by Cody McMahon.
Much better spacing by Duke offensively, just so players had room to cut and maneuver. And this is a tough foul for Ohio State. 1 second left on the shot clock. Right there, you have McMahon somewhat out of position, a little too aggressive on that play, picking up the foul.
2 shots for Delaney Thomas. One of 5 freshmen brought in this year by Kara Lawson. And no team in the ACC played their freshmen more than Duke, which makes it all the more impressive that they went 11-7 in league play, again in one of arguably the hardest conferences in the country.
Between the new faces coming in from the portal and the freshmen, this team came together pretty quickly. It's impressive how they've been able to gel over the course of the season and find that success.
Sheldon rejected by Emsbo. Bodies on the floor, Parks on the deck. 2 players behind the play as Mayer knocks it out of bounds wisely off of McMahon. That was a helter-skelter series.
I feel like I'm watching tennis or Wimbledon right now, going back and forth.
So the shot clock turned off here for the Blue Devils. Can get the final shot of the first quarter if they want it. Still without a field goal in nearly 8 minutes. Mayer with 5. Mayer with 2. And Duke closes the first quarter without a field goal. Over the final 8 minutes and change, they trail Ohio State by 10 in J.C. Sheldon's final home game as a Buckeye. And her sister Emmy watching on in what could be her final game, cheering in the stands.
J.C. Sheldon, how are you looking to get more out of your final game at the shot?
Yeah, geez, it hasn't even sunk in yet that it's our final game. It probably won't until after the game, but I think it's special, especially playing in front of our home fans one last time, and in March, I think it's that much more special. But we have a lot of fifth years, so I think it'll mean a little more for us going into the game tomorrow.
Why is this the best atmosphere in the country?
Oh, it's amazing. We got the best fans in the land, and we know that. We look at them as part of our family, and we got to be closer, even this year, get to kind of interact with them some more, so it's been really cool.
Cool. Get more.
Get more brought to you by Geico. J.C. Sheldon, Megan McEwen. There's her sister Emmy, always in the stands, always on the sideline, high-fiving her teammates. But Ohio State playing at home, that's a big deal. They're 16-1 in this building this year, Megan, and they're top 15 in the country in attendance as well.
It's fun having these home atmospheres like Ohio State, where they love women's basketball here. They care, they show up. They've been here since I was playing in the Big Ten more than 10 years ago. One of the best atmospheres in women's college basketball, and it makes for a great atmosphere for the NCAA tournament.
So J.C. Sheldon will go to the line on the first foul by Alucia Kanoa. Duke closed the first quarter without a field goal over the final 8 minutes. 5 turnovers for the Blue Devils led to 5 extra shots by the Buckeyes. And Akanawa whistled for the offensive foul. That is 2 quick ones on the ACC 6th Player of the Year, and now she will head to the bench.
That's tough for Lucia Kanawa because her ability to create second chance opportunities has led to so much success for the Blue Devils. Here she comes in, hesitation, goes down, and right there, that push of the arm, the extending of it, initiating the contact with the offensive player leads to the charge call.
McMahon off the mark, and it goes back to Ohio State.
I love Jaden Donovan's ability to defend down low. She's got great size at 6 feet, but her wingspan is incredible. She can alter so many shots because of her athleticism.
Blue Devils get Reagan Richardson back into the game. Struggling with the ball, and Ohio State wins it back.
That's the #1 area you do not want to pick the ball up from. As soon as you cross half court, JC Sheldon and Celeste Taylor come up to trap. That half court line is a third defender. And just like that, it's a tie ball. Duke has to do a better job of getting the ball out of their hands and not stopping right after they get past half court.
And I beg your pardon, the arrow pointed to Duke, so they have it with 5 on the shot clock. Jackson with 1, and it's a shot clock violation. Man, this Duke offense just looks out of sorts, Megan. You see it there on your screen. Nearly 9.5 minutes without a made field goal.
Duke hasn't been able to get into any of their offensive sets because this press is speeding them up so much. They're getting forced into taking quick shots that are out of control. Even when Ohio State doesn't create a turnover, they take so much time off the shot clock that you're rushed to try to get into an offensive set.
Mikolashikova, big time bucket, rolls it in.
She was fading away on that too from the basket, but still kept her shoulder squared, which is how she was able to get the right angle on the shot. Rebecca Mikolashikova has completely changed her game. She was primarily a pick and pop kind of player. Now she's down in the post making moves like this against Kennedy Brown, who is a high-level post defender, the ACC. Mikolashikova doing all the work, getting position early in the possession to get the right angle.
Reagan Richardson, who had 25 in the win against Richmond, still just 2 points this afternoon. And they have gone 10 minutes without a field goal.
And their shots have been contested almost every time. Ohio State's getting out there with a high hand on the catch as soon as the ball is moving through the air.
Taylor, backdoor feed on a dime by Rebecca Mikolashikova.
And Taylor kept the ball nice and high. That's exactly what Duke needs to do, though. Try to get past these lines of defense, but they have to be under control when they're finally down at the rim.
Richardson pulls it back out. Blue Devils are 2 for 13 from the floor and 6 of 9 from the free throw line.
Duke has to find a way to get to the rim on this possession.
Third opportunity tracked down by Kennedy Brown.
They keep settling for contested shots on the perimeter. They've got to find a way to get a touch inside to Brown or allow some players to drive to the rim. You got to get a paint touch in this possession.
Ashlyn Jackson, step back, rims it in. First field goal in over 11 minutes for the Blue Devils.
That shot was still contested. Mikolashikova didn't have her hands up though, so Brown had more, or Jackson rather, had that opportunity.
Taylor Theory off the bounce, slicing through the defense and draws a foul. 2 shots coming.
Ohio State has absolutely lived in the paint this game. 18 points in the paint to be exact. How about the backdoor cut? Just a fake to go screen away. Then the hard cut. Mayer gets caught with her head going one way. Celeste Taylor is at the rim making her pay.
2 shots.
Well, and now 2 Duke Blue Devils with 2 fouls. Taina Mayer and Lucia Kanawa. And that's problematic against Ohio State's pressure defense because those are 2 of your better ball handlers, including Mayer, the starting point guard.
The reason why Mayer and Kanawa are in foul trouble is because Ohio State's guards have been aggressive, driving to the rim and trying to get that inside game going. And and that's what they need to do. Get the ball to Kennedy Brown in the center of the floor every time. She has the ability to catch it, take a second, and allow Ohio State to get back into their half-court defense.
Well, now it's Ashlyn Jackson, who before this year had never played point guard. And a nice feed to Reagan Richardson. They'd like to see more of that after she filled it up against the Richmond Spiders in the opening round win on Friday.
She finally got an in-rhythm shot. Richardson needs more in-rhythm shots in the short corner from 15 feet.
McMahon backing down Donovan, well defended. And last touched by Duke. Kara Lawson not pleased. Felt like it should be Blue Devil basketball.
Donovan's doing a great job staying down against Cody McMahon, who's a powerful player. Donovan timed that perfectly. McMahon tried to draw the foul on it, but Donovan was able to jump straight up and down.
Oh, come on. J.C. Sheldon in a phone booth.
And then she turns back in 0.5 seconds to play defense. It's unbelievable, her ability to switch from offense to defense so quickly.
And Sheldon now 6th all-time in career scoring in OSU history, passing Taylor Hill. And an offensive foul against the Blue Devils. And that is number 2 on Kennedy Brown.
This has been a point of emphasis this season, the moving screens. And part of making sure you get the screen legally done is by the person who's receiving the screen. You have to wait, make sure your screener's there before you rub shoulders and go off, because you're putting your teammate in a really bad position if you start to go before they're set.
Well, there's a correction on Brown. Apparently one of the previous fouls that was called on her was switched to someone else, so it's only 1 on Brown, which is good news for Duke, who already has 2 players on the bench with 2 fouls, as Cody McMahon will go to the line for Ohio State.
And for the Blue Devils, Delaney Thomas, replacing Jaden Donovan. 2 shots.
Jaden Donovan goes to the bench, and the freshman Delaney Thomas back in. Largest lead of the game for the Buckeyes.
Better job by Duke getting the ball to the middle of the floor.
Deep three by Ashlyn Jackson. First triple of the game for either team.
Boy, did the Blue Devils need that. Jackson, if no one's going to guard you, that is your opportunity to let it go.
Sheldon step back. And a foul on J.C. Sheldon, her second. But just moments ago, J.C. Sheldon moving up the career leaderboard here in OSU history, passing Taylor Hill.
J.C. Sheldon, one of the smartest players on the floor. Just that back cut makes things work for the Buckeyes. We've got ourselves a good one here in Columbus.
This Sunday, guys.
Thank you, Kelsey. 8 turnovers for the Blue Devils so far. And remember, they're without Taina Mayer right now. Their starting point guard on the bench with 2 fouls. And the 6th woman of the year in the ACC, Alucia Kanawha, also on the bench with 2 fouls. But they got a 3 from Richardson.
Duke finally able to get into a rhythm offensively. They're spreading the floor, the ball is moving with some pop, and they're forcing Ohio State's defense to go on the move.
Duke started the game 2 for 14 from the floor. They've since hit their last 4 field goals. Sheldon, step through, nifty move off glass.
Just like playing hopscotch in the backyard, Sheldon's bounds are massive as she's able to weave through traffic and finish on the opposite side of the rim.
7 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds for J.C. Sheldon, playing in her final game here at Ohio State. Richardson pops. Rebound effort, Delaney Thomas into the hands of Harris. with very little resistance, counted in the foul.
McMahon played that perfectly. She didn't go in full steam ahead. She slowed down just enough to get herself under control, read not just the primary but the secondary defender, and then rock all the way through. Nice job by her, staying balanced, staying under control, finishing with her shoulders to the basket. And that's a scary look to have from Cody McMahon. You know she's about to go into attack mode right now. She's feeling confident.
She's already taken 6 free throws in this game, averaged 5.5 per game during the course of the regular season. "14-point Duke deficit." Richardson fouled on the perimeter by her old teammate Celeste Taylor.
Reagan Richardson's doing a nice job being aggressive with the ball. The moment she gets it, she's reading the defense and attacking. Duke has to find ways to get the ball into the paint. It's going to open up so much for them offensively if they can find ways to get Ohio State's defense to collapse.
Richardson again, a deep three. And Reagan Richardson now has 2 threes in the first half.
Richardson doesn't need a ton of room to get that shot off. If you give her an inch, she'll take a mile.
McMahon backing down the freshman, having her way in the paint.
And staying balanced and under control. Cody McMahon right now is going to work in the paint.
No answers for the honorable mention All-American and first team All Big Ten player. Final 2 minutes of the first half. Ohio State on top by 13. Jackson slicing through, +1 for Ashlyn Jackson.
Ashlyn Jackson just put on the Jets big time, reading the defense. And it looked like she even had that slight hesitation right there, was able to round the corner. Nice job doing a little bit of a change of speed when she got down low.
Well, now fouls becoming an issue for Ohio State. Taylor Theory with 2, J.C. Sheldon with 2, Celeste Taylor with 2, and now Cody McMahon with 2.
Is that it?
I could make some up for you if you want. Picked by Kennedy Brown. And it's back to a single-digit deficit for the Blue Devils. And Kevin McGuff is on the floor, arguing his case, not pleased. Speaking with Natasha Kamey. Now he's speaking with Mark Resch. Duke on a little bit of a run here. They've made their last 3 field goals. And the Blue Devils, who trailed by as many as 16, now trail by 8 with 1:46 to play in the opening half.
Back in Columbus, Duke has cut this game to single digits. Let's check out how they are fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's. Duke able to finally get some offense going by spreading the floor. And then defensively, this press that we've not seen consistently throughout the course of this game. 2 players go at J.C. Sheldon. Ohio State wasn't ready for it. It just results in a simple turnover. And just like that, the Blue Devils are back within striking distance.
The numbers totally flipped between the first quarter and the second quarter for Duke, not unlike what we saw first half to second half in their opening round win against Richmond. Trailed by 9 at the break in that game and then blew it open for a 12-point victory.
That's what makes this Duke team so impressive. They might get down, but they're never out.
Top scoring defense in the ACC this season for Duke. And the rebound, Ashlyn Jackson. Blue Devils on a 14-6 run. Doing it all without Taina Mayer, their starting point guard, on the bench with 2 fouls, and without the ACC 6th Player of the Year, Oluchi Akanawa. Thomas, offensive rebound, draws a foul.
Duke's ability to defend and create second chance opportunities keeps them in games. And just like that, Delaney Thomas making the right play, staying in position, moving as soon as the shot goes up, and nobody boxes her out. She simply swoops in there and gets a second chance opportunity.
Rebounding becoming a story as we anticipated it would be. Duke +7, and they have 6 offensive rebounds. Six-point game. 1:03 to go in the first half. Sheldon with a mismatch. And just too much dribbling by the third leading scorer in the Big Ten this season. Gives it back to Duke. Just the second turnover of the day for Ohio State.
Duke doing a better job staying under control when breaking this press. Getting the ball up the floor quickly with the pass, not by dribbling.
Richardson, step back, over Taylor.
She just stepped back 2 counties to get that shot off. Oh my goodness, the separation.
Reagan Richardson has come alive in the second quarter, 10 points. And now the shot clock turned off for Ohio State. Theory trying to wiggle free. Up and under, won't go. And the rebound secured by Delaney Thomas. And Duke ends the first half on a 9-0 run. A 4-point game after Ohio State led by as many as 16. Buckeyes looking for their third straight trip to the Sweet 16. Duke in search of its first Sweet 16 since 2018. We've got a good one in Columbus as we send you back to Kelsey Riggs. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. From Columbus, Ohio, the 2-seed Ohio State Buckeyes lead 7-seed Duke 36-32 with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Hi again, everybody. Matt Schumacher, Megan McEwen. It doesn't get any better than this. Duke with an 11-minute drought without a field goal, and yet, Megan, it's a 2-possession game. Your thoughts on the first half?
Pace of play was a massive factor. Ohio State was able to make this a track meet in the first quarter. Duke got flustered and turned the ball over. In the second quarter, Reagan Richardson calmed everybody down. Duke was able to get some half-court sets going, get into the paint, and find balanced scoring.
We saw suffocating defense from Ohio State. One of the most suffocating defenses in the country. Forced 8 first-half turnovers.
Ohio State's press isn't necessarily about the first line of defense. It's about that back line. Celeste Taylor reads the eyes of the quarterback like a D-back in coverage and has gotten countless pick six. If you bring the ball down, Celeste Taylor uses such active hands. She will make you pay. Even when you get over and you think you've broken the press, here comes J.C. Sheldon. Celeste Taylor with the trap. You have to constantly keep your head on a swivel with the ball in your hands. Reagan Richardson came to life for the Blue Devils in the second quarter. She was such a calming force, making all the right decisions, knocking down outside shots, which opened up room in the perimeter for people to have room to get to the basket. All in all, a really nice offensive quarter from Reagan Richardson. She's helped get this team back into the game.
A look at our star stories presented by Honda. Richardson, 10 of her 12 first half points came in the second quarter. And Cody McMahon was nearly unstoppable in the first half. 14 points on 5 of 8, almost all of them coming exclusively in the paint. An area in which Ohio State dominated in the first half, 26-6. Celeste Taylor in the paint, no. Put back won't go by Taylor Theory.
Taylor Theory just had to shoot it over Celeste Taylor. A little friendly fire right there.
Duke went 11 minutes without a field goal in the first half, but they closed the first half on a massive run. 18-6 for the Blue Devils. But a violation gives it back to Ohio State. And Kara Lawson electing to roll the dice with Taina Mayer, her starting point guard, who only played 13 minutes in the first half with 2 fouls. State skill, scoreless, Megan, from beyond the arc, 0 for 5.
And I don't love that shot from Taylor. It was contested too early in the shot clock.
And a travel gives it back to Ohio State, the 10th Duke turnover.
The Buckeyes had success scoring the ball when they were able to get into the paint. That's where they dominated in the first quarter of this game. They have to find ways to get back, attack the paint, because it opens up your perimeter game.
Taylor tries a three.
The ball stayed on one side of the floor that whole entire possession for Ohio State. Duke's defense didn't really have to work that hard.
Inside to Kennedy Brown, and she makes it a 2-point game. Duke trailed by as many as 16 in the first half.
Now Duke is playing calm, under control basketball, getting a deep paint touch to Kennedy Brown. All she had to do was turn around. She was right at the rim.
First touch of the second half for McMahon, and she pays it off with 16 points.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Buckeyes, and just like that, you have to be ready the moment that they score to break the press.
11th Duke turnover. Tracy Sheldon getting the call from the sideline from her head coach, Kevin McGuff. Big Ten Coach of the Year. McMahon twirling, hanging, backs it in off the window. Cody McMahon, 18 points.
Acrobatic. These finishes are fancy right now from Cody McMahon.
And nobody can stop her from Duke. Reagan Richardson starting to look unstoppable as she did in the opening round win against Richmond with 25. Celeste Taylor back the other way, no, and got her own miss. A fresh 20 for Ohio State. McMahon barreling in, draws a foul on Donovan. And that is number 2 on the freshman from Maryland.
Cody McMahon has the ability to take over games because of her ability to get downhill and stay balanced. She is making these games tongue out. She's having fun right now. I mean, she's absolutely everywhere. And then Reagan Richardson making the right decision. If no one stops her, she pops right where she needs to. She has been such a calming force and the reason why Duke is back in this game. Reagan Richardson is making all the right decisions offensively.
If you're Ohio State, do you go anywhere else than Cody McMahon in the paint until Duke shows that they can stop her?
Why fix it if it ain't broke? That would be my answer to that one, Matthew.
So your answer is no.
No.
Don't go anywhere else.
No.
A game-high 20 points for Cody McMahon. 6 of those at the foul line. Duke has not been to a Sweet 16 since 2018. Many players on this Duke roster in their first NCAA tournament appearance, and that's a much-needed bucket by Taina Mayer, who was 0 for 7 from the floor against Richmond on Friday.
Mayer read that perfectly. The defense went under the screen. She had all day to get the shot off. Good
Sheldon
pass.
the kick out. Sheldon through contact.
Change of speed by Sheldon. That little hesitation forced the defense out of their stance, and she was able to attack.
Mayer with the bounce pass. Richardson. A rare miss from the mid-range, then wins it back. Jackson a 3. And last touch by, well, hang on a second. Natasha Kamey said it was Ohio State ball, and Mark Retsch said it was Duke ball. And now there's going to be a foul here.
From behind, you see Kennedy Brown make that contact with Cody McMahon. That's where the foul gets called.
So it's the second foul on Kennedy Brown. And Ohio State basketball with a 5-point lead. McMahon, really tough shot forced by Brown.
Brown did a good job staying down and keeping her arm up, being disruptive.
Richardson slips it inside to Brown.
Richardson created that angle by taking a couple dribbles towards the half-court line. It allowed Brown to get the right positioning. Boom, that pass was a wide-open layup.
Had a monster game against Richmond. Kennedy Brown, 10.7 boards and a career-high 5 assists. And that opening round win as Richardson steals it back. And draws a foul on her old teammate, Celeste Taylor. 2 shots coming for the second-team All-ACC player, Reagan Richardson.
Richardson staying low defensively, and she did a good job keeping that ball away. She knew Celeste Taylor was going to try to go up for that block. She kept the ball away, so the only option Taylor had was to foul.
And that is the 3rd foul on Celeste Taylor. Meanwhile, Aluchi Akanawa comes back into the game with 2 fouls. Only played 8 minutes in the first half, and you see Richardson's performance where it ranks among Duke Blue Devils in the last 10 years. Some pretty good names on that list, including Lexi Brown. Kara Lawson's team has shown great resilience in this tournament, trailed by as many as 16 in the first half. It's a 1-point game.
They were down 9 at halftime against Richmond last game. Came out on a huge run, never looked back afterwards. The Blue Devils knocked down, never knocked out though. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They have that resiliency as a team.
Taylor to McMahon, counted in the foul. Another one for Cody McMahon.
This place is getting loud thanks to none other than Cody McMahon, who is putting on an absolute show down low in the paint. Nobody can guard her. You better get in the weight room if you're trying to go up against Cody McMahon, the sophomore, making things shake and doing backflips in the 3rd quarter. What can't Cody McMahon do right now? She has been unbelievable underneath, creating opportunities, but she is staying on balance, not barreling into the defender. She is doing a great job staying up and down, finishing towards the rim. Her shoulders are squared, and even when they're not, she's so strong she can get the angle to the rim anyways. I like the backward somersault for the finish. Just making things fancy out here at Columbus. Why not? We're trying to go to Sweet 16 here. Both teams with a great chance and putting on a great show right now.
She is the subject of our Need to Know, brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Had 13, a quiet 13 in the words of Megan McEwen in the win over Maine. Anything but quiet today, a game high 22. And back to the free throw line yet again. She's 6 of 8 from the stripe to start the day.
Yeah, it's fair to call it a loud 22 right now.
Making her presence felt. 3-point game. Ohio State has been to the Sweet 16 2 consecutive years, trying to get back for a 3rd straight. We'll take on the winner of Syracuse and UConn.
Good help side rotation from Ohio State.
What a feed by Emma Cable, but jarred loose by Taylor Theory. Buckeyes have lost just 1 game in this building all year. It was early in the season to UCLA. 16-1 at Value City Arena this season. Backdoor feed, stolen away by Emma Cable, then draws a foul on Celeste Taylor, and that is number 4 on the Duke transfer.
Mikola Shakova did not time that pass up right. She waited just a second longer, and it allowed Cable to have time to get a hand in there. And that's the 4th foul on Celeste Taylor. She won't be able to come back into this game until well into the 4th quarter.
Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year goes to the bench in Celeste Taylor. Ricky Harris on the floor, the redshirt senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. Cable left open. Kalashnikova lost it. Seven turnovers now on Ohio State to Duke's 12. Jackson a deep two. Buries it from the top of the key, and it's back to a one-point game.
Jackson is elite at reading the defense where they are. Cody McMahon fell. That gave Jackson enough time to have the room to get a shot off.
Sheldon doing her best to get free. And Ohio State 0 for 7 from beyond the arc.
Duke's doing a better job inside the paint. There's not a ton of room right now.
Jackson. Offensive foul drawn by Ricky Harris, who had 2 charges in the opening round win against Maine.
Ricky Harris started every game last season for the Buckeyes. This year she's coming off the bench, but she gets there, establishes herself as that secondary defender, takes the contact. That is textbook on how to draw a charge.
Just wants to win. Told us, Megan, on Thursday when we got a chance to see all 4 teams at this Columbus spot, I will do literally whatever it takes to win and to get on the floor. She's done that this year for Ohio State.
That's when you have a special team, and players don't care about the individual accolades. They just want to win games. That's what matters. Did you score 35? Did you win the game? What's more important? Winning the game.
Draws a foul and gets 2 shots at the line. Ricky Harris headed there for the first time today.
Ricky Harris coming in off the bench, making a huge play defensively, then coming down, drawing some contact. Ohio State hasn't been able to find well at all offensively. The key to getting more confidence back as a team is getting fouled, getting to the line.
Coming up Monday night on ESPN, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship second round continues. Syracuse squaring off with UConn, then West Virginia taking on Caitlin Clark in Iowa, and finally Kansas and USC. All games also available on the app. The winner of this game will get the winner of Syracuse UConn in the Sweet 16 next weekend.
We've got some good games in this tournament. Early matchups.
Sure do.
Goodness.
Richardson ties it at 47.
I don't even know how she made that shot. Talk about a high degree of difficulty. She had 2 people guarding her.
First tie of the game. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Harris barreling in off the window. No. And scooped up by Richardson. Inside to Thomas. Duke has its first lead at 49-47. And a timeout taken by Kevin McGuff.
The Blue Devils have come alive, turning their defense into excellent offense. There's a reason why they're terrorized teams in the ACC this season. Reagan Richardson, are you kidding me? Pulling away from the basket, she still finds the finish. In transition, the Blue Devils coming in hot. Back in Columbus, Duke with its first lead of the game. They have found balanced offense, started by hitting shots on the outside. That just opens things up for Reagan Richardson to get to the basket down the perimeter. So many different ways Duke's been able to get back into this, but it started on the defensive end, keeping Ohio State to 1 and done, getting buckets in transition. They are doing all of the right things right now to get this lead back.
As we take a look at today's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ. This Duke team has shown great resilience all tournament long. Trailed by 9 at the half to Richmond. Ran away with it in the second half. Today, trailed by 16 in the first, and now have their first lead of the game with a minute and change left in the third quarter.
Duke really is not allowing J.C. Sheldon to get the ball back within the offense. They're hard denying her, and the offense runs through J.C. Sheldon a lot of the time.
Sheldon uncharacteristically with just 9 points and 3 assists so far. Ricky Harris, no, there's a foul on the floor, and I believe it will go against Camilla Emsbo of Duke, and that is her second as she took Cody McMahon with her.
Cody McMahon's been crashing the boards all afternoon. Duke's been doing a good job trying to get a body on her early in the possession, but Cody McMahon is so strong that that becomes a physical matchup back and forth. Right there, and you see Emsbo hooking her arms on McMahon.
McMahon has been terrific today. 7 for 10 from the line, 23 points. You mentioned the rebounding. Kevin McGuff told us that rebounding would be where this game was won or lost. He specifically challenged Cody McMahon in that department before tip-off today. Winner of this game gets the winner of UConn-Syracuse Monday night, 6 Eastern on our ESPN networks. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Final 30 seconds in the third quarter. Madison Green running the point for Ohio State. McMahon with 5. Backing down Emsbo. Great defense by the Yale transfer. Jackson to Emsbo, lays it in. And a foul at midcourt sent Ricky Harris to the floor. Kara Lawson's face says it all. Mouth agape, can't believe it. Harris will get 2 free throws with 1.6 seconds left in the quarter. And the second foul on Emma Cable.
Duke did a great job scoring quickly, but they almost left too much time on the clock for Ohio State to have this kind of opportunity. There's a fine balance at the end of a quarter between trying to get the last shot, but trying to keep enough time so you can maybe get a second chance opportunity. And just like that, Ohio State's going to be able to take away some of that momentum Duke built up.
1 point game, 1.6 in the quarter. Jackson, 3-quarter court heave. And Duke takes its first lead of the game into the fourth quarter.
Duke getting out.
Sweet 16 on the line.
Duke getting out, running in transition, making things work. Emsbo down low. Just like that, we've got ourselves a close one here in Columbus.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio. 51-50. 10 minutes to go in the round of 32. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Duke has not been there since 2018. OSU has been there in back-to-back seasons. And this Duke team trailed by as many as 16 in the first half. Megan McEwen, they have a 1-point lead here in the final frame.
Defense, defense, defense. The Blue Devils have cranked it up all the way, keeping Ohio State to 1 and done, not allowing J.C. Sheldon the ball once she gives it up. And Ohio State has not been able to get into any sort of offensive flow in this half.
Reagan Richardson off the mark. Rebound, Jaden Donovan. And Taina Mayer gets it back out. Celeste Taylor back into the game for Ohio State with 4 fouls. Here comes Taylor. Cody McMahon, a game-high 23. Ohio State went to her early and often in the first half. Duke doing a nice job shutting her down a bit in the second. Sheldon following her miss. McMahon drawing a foul and back to the free throw line where she is 7 for 11 this afternoon.
This has been the bread and butter all day long for the Buckeyes. Get the ball to Cody McMahon and let her go to work down low. She's done an excellent job of staying under control going in. She's not driving in out of control like a freight train. She's coming in balanced, strong, low to the ground. She's going to win that battle every single time because of how low she gets. She gets that strong center of gravity to go up.
For the 4th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 championships. Ohio State takes back the lead. Silencer, +1.
Kennedy Brown got so deep in the paint that possession, absolutely burying Rebecca Mikulashikova. And a reversal allowed Brown to get that positioning. You see the numbers on the front of the jersey. Get it inside to your big. Kennedy Brown making things work down low.
New role in the program this year for Kennedy Brown as the lone returning senior was asked to be a voice and a leader on this team. And in the words of her head coach, Kara Lawson, is the calming presence for a Duke team that's in a bit of foul trouble. Jaden Donovan with 4 on the bench. Oluchi Akanawa, the 6th woman of the year in the ACC with 3. McMahon. Oh, she is in her bag. Cody McMahon with 27.
McMahon has having the defender take a step back because they got to be ready for the drive. She makes them pay.
Inside to Brown, off the back iron, rebound McMahon. Under 10 to shoot. Taylor with 3. Mikulashikova. And the rebound, Taina Mayer.
Duke is excellent at getting into passing lanes. There was not a ton of room to move on that possession for Ohio State because Duke is everywhere.
Brown in the paint, draws a foul on Ohio State.
Brown is getting such deep positioning in the paint. And Cody McMahon, on the other hand, is getting anything she wants offensively. Right now, they're staying a step off of her because Cody McMahon keeps getting to the basket. She has time to get the shot off. She's under controlled. And now, Duke has to take a step out to get a hand up on her.
And now, Mikulashikova with 3 fouls. Stays in the game, along with Celeste Taylor with 4 for Ohio State. Brown, left hand, no. Mikulashikova hauls it in, stolen back by Richardson. Tied at 54. Delaney Thomas stripped, and that's number 5 on Celeste Taylor. The Duke transfer is done.
Celeste Taylor with 4 fouls came back in and slaps down right in front of the official. This was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. She gets all ball on that, but you can't come down over the arms of the person with the ball, and that is a huge blow to Ohio State.
Was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year last season for Duke. Helped them into the NCAA tournament. Had a monster year this year, obviously, for Ohio State. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and she is done for the day. We'll have to watch the final 6:38 from the bench as Delaney Thomas, the freshman, who's played extended minutes this afternoon due to all of Duke's foul trouble, gives the Blue Devils a 1-point lead.
She made the smart decision. Drive to the basket. If you have Celeste Taylor on you and she's got 4 fouls, you want to try to get her to the 5th. It worked.
Duke on top by a pair.
Look at how hard they're denying JC Shelton right now.
Theory, clear lane to the bucket, tied at 56.
Taylor Theory has such a high IQ. She realizes that 2 jerseys are going with JC Shelton. She waits a beat, boom, clear open lane to the basket.
Mayer to Brown, offensive foul. Cody McMahon draws it on Kennedy Brown.
Cody McMahon is having a most outstanding player performance in this game. Comes over to establish herself as a secondary defender, and she gets there.
Kara Lawson is irate on the Duke sideline. Cody McMahon dialed in. 27 points, 5 boards, and draws a massive offensive foul, the third on Kennedy Brown. McMahon stripped momentarily. Theory keeps it alive. Sheldon to Harris, rejected by Brown, but a foul. Number 4 on the Yale transfer, on the second-year Oregon State transfer, rather.
Ricky Harris has come into this game and made so many smart plays, but right there you see Brown get her in the face right there. I mean, this game has been absolutely wild, Matt.
Amazing. And we anticipated back and forth. You said pace would determine the winner. These two teams led their conferences, the ACC and the Big Ten respectively, in scoring defense. Defense has been at a premium this afternoon.
This has been such a fun game to watch because of the adjustments made. Players are making plays. It's been amazing to also see how Duke has been able to hard deny J.C. Sheldon the ball, but Ohio State is still finding ways to get to the rim and score, even with their point guard not allowed to be effective within the offense.
Luciano back on the floor. Kicks it out, open 3. Richardson puts it in.
Paint touches lead to open three-point opportunities. Reagan Richardson has not missed much this afternoon. If she gets an inch, she's going to knock it down.
Back-to-back 20-point games in this tournament for Reagan Richardson. Sheldon had it deflected by Taina Mayer. And that will take us to our final media timeout. 2-point lead for the 7th seed Duke Blue Devils. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line.
Janae, Nikki, and Kelsey with this studio reported right now over on ABC. Nikki, South Carolina getting whatever they want.
Well, bench production has always been key for South Carolina. Look at Tessa Johnson knocking it down from the three-point line, 3 of 3.
They're 29-0 outscoring them from the bench. Meanwhile, next game coming your way on ESPN, Kansas State.
Watch Ayoka Lee on the inside. Last time out, she had 21 and 9.
It's going to be a great matchup with Colorado in just about 15 minutes after the conclusion of this great game.
Thank you, ladies. What a game it's been, and what an atmosphere. 8,333 in attendance at the Schottenstein Center here in Columbus. A game summary. Duke trailed by as many as 16 in the first half. They have a 2-point lead and have dominated the glass and second chance points as Mayer knocks it out of bounds and back to the Blue Devils.
Taina Mayer has made so many elite decisions today. She had 2 fouls in the first half, didn't get into foul trouble ever since, has stayed really disciplined defensively. And offensively, she is making this thing go for the Blue Devils, getting into the paint, allowing her teammates to move and get into the right positions.
Well, you bring up fouls. Foul trouble, certainly a story. Ohio State without the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in Celeste Taylor, who has fouled out for just the 3rd time this season. And that is a foul on Taylor. Theory, her 3rd. Packed house in Columbus. Women's hoops at its finest. So much buzz around this tournament, and rightfully so. And so much buzz for Reagan Richardson with a team-high 23.
It has gotten so loud in this gym, and Reagan Richardson has found ways to absolutely silence the crowd, hitting key shots time and time again.
Who's it going to be for Ohio State? A bucket when you need it. McMahon, a game-high 27. Barreling into the paint, had it stripped. Emsbo was there for Duke.
Emsbo perfectly timed on that block.
Great catch by Emsbo. Akanawa shuffling.
Good decision by Mayer to bring it back out, let her team get reset. Duke cannot afford to waste possessions right now.
Richardson, fade away, got it. What a shot Largest lead of the game for the Blue Devils.
She's got the biggest smile on her face for good reason. Reagan Richardson has completely taken over in the second half. She's under control. She's balanced. She is making everything. And she looks like she's just playing in the backyard, having a great time with her friends.
And she's got a lot of concerned faces in the crowd here for Ohio State fans. She's done that. Not just today, Megan, but all tournament long, back-to-back 25-point games.
Richardson does a great job getting herself open, but her ability to create her own shot, staying balanced, the pump fakes, the defense is coming out and lunging at her. She's getting everybody off balance, and then she's able to take the shot she wants completely unrushed.
Think about this. Duke brought in 5 freshmen this year to play alongside 3 sophomores. Reagan Richardson, one of just a couple of upperclassmen. They replaced 3 starters. Nobody was sure what they would get from Duke this year, but here they are with a 6-point lead and 3.5 minutes to go from their first Sweet 16 since 2018.
Ohio State's got to find a way to get Cody McMahon the ball down low in the paint. Duke has not had an answer for it.
Ohio State looking for answers. Sheldon coughed it up, and a jump ball. Now the possession arrow points to Ohio State, so they will keep it. Kevin McGuff's group, back-to-back trips to the Sweet 16, returns almost everyone from their Elite 8 appearance a year ago. It was the furthest this program has been since playing for the national championship in 1993. Down 6, 7 on the shot clock. Theory. Oh, what a shot! Taylor Theory banks it in.
There was some contact on that too. Taylor Theory finishing strong in balance towards the rim.
Richardson lost the handle, kept it. Offensive board, draws a foul. To the free throw line goes Richardson.
Richardson has been unguardable in this half. She is creating second chance opportunities. She is fighting to finish possessions. No one can stop her. She's constantly on the move. Pump fakes, get everybody out of their stance, and no one's boxing her out.
4th foul on Rebecca Mikolashikova. And remember, no Celeste Taylor for Ohio State. She fouled out with 6 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the game. Five-point deficit. McMahon trying to go over Emsbo.
Emsbo did a great job there, staying straight up and down.
Mayer off the rim, rebound Mikolashikova. Can J.C. Sheldon get something going here?
Ohio State's got to find a way to get at the rim. Emsbo tipped that, touched it and tipped it.
Doing everything defensively.
Couldn't even spit it out.
The Duke contingent, small it may be, but on their feet behind the Duke bench. Richardson floats it in. Reagan Richardson, are you kidding me? 28 for the second-team All-ACC player. McMahon pops. Won't go. Richardson the rebound. Time not on Ohio State's side. Big Ten regular season champs, winners of 15 in a row in January and February. Just one loss in this building all year, on the ropes, with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. And a foul, the 5th on Mikolashikova.
Ohio State dominated pace of play in the first half. Duke has dominated pace of play in the second half. They've slowed this down, forced Ohio State to grind it out in the half court. And now they have fouled not one, but two players out for the Buckeyes, Celeste Taylor, Rebecca Mikulashikova. It has been a masterful half-court offensive performance by Duke.
And there is Mikulashikova's club coach from Slovakia, Marek Mikletić, who flew in yesterday almost 5,000 miles from their hometown in Slovakia. There at the line. Things are getting tense for this Ohio State team, Megan, who has been on such a roll all year long. J.C. Sheldon, the third leading scorer in the Big Ten, with just 2 points in this half. How do you get her going here over the final minute?
Well, you need to get her in situations where she can get to the rim. So coming off of ball screens, J.C. Sheldon is an excellent creator. They have to find ways to get her space to maneuver. And they also have to find ways to get Cody McMahon the ball. The best offense Ohio State has had in this game has been give Cody McMahon the ball and get out the way.
Well, tonight's Capital One rewarding performance goes to none other than Reagan Richardson, 28 points on 11 of 18.
She has been so smart with her shot selection. Reagan Richardson has mixed it up, getting to the basket. That opens up the mid-range jumper, her craftiness, her ability to get the defense off balance up in the air, yet she stays under control. She is putting on a fantastic example of how you create your own shot.
Richardson with 53 points over the last 2 games, willed her team to victory, down 9 at the half against Richmond. This team trailed by as many as 16 to Ohio State in the first half. And frankly, at one point in this game, it looked like Ohio State was going to run away with it. But Duke changed that narrative in the second quarter, largely because of Reagan Richardson's 10 points. And now they lead 68-59. And Megan, Ohio State is 0 for 8 from 3. They have hit a 3, at least one, in 361 straight games. There's a foul there on Delaney Thomas. The three-point ball has to be something you consider at this point if you're Ohio State, right?
If you can get an open look, that would be great for Ohio State, but Duke's done a great job denying J.C. Sheldon and other three-point shooters on the line. Ohio State has had no room to get shots off.
Here is Sheldon. Off the mark. Rebound Brown. Do you foul now if you're Ohio State?
You're going to have to. You need to create possessions.
They're trying to trap. The foul comes in from Theory. And now she is one away from fouling out of this game. Some of the fans are starting to head towards the exits. A dream season hanging in the balance. Outright Big Ten regular season champs for the first time since 2009-2010. Emmy Sheldon, the sister of J.C., watching on, trying to keep mom and dad from getting overly nervous. Sheldon playing in her final game at the shot here in Columbus. Down 10.
They've got to score quick, get to the basket, get fouled.
Theory off the bounce. Now Sheldon draws a foul, and 2 shots coming.
Took a lot of time off the clock there. Ohio State has to be quicker trying to score. Now the clock's against them, but at least they can stop the clock here, put points on the board. They're going to have to try to get a quick steal or try to foul right away.
The free throw line has been unkind to Ohio State today. 17 for 26, 65%. That is below their average of 71.5, and a timeout taken by Kara Lawson.
This is a good timeout by Coach Lawson because she can advance the ball, doesn't have to worry about Ohio State's press and turning it over in the backcourt. Now Ohio State has to focus on trying to get a steal off the inbounds, trying to trap and get a steal quickly off the first pass, and if that doesn't happen, they have to foul.
Remember, Taylor Theory has 4 fouls. She is still on the floor because, frankly, Ohio State is out of options. Mika Lashikova fouled out. Celeste Taylor, the Duke transfer Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, also fouled out. And Kevin McGuff has put Tyre Parks onto the floor to guard the basketball. Into Akanawa, and a foul from McMahon. Akanawa, a 75% free throw shooter this season, has not attempted a free throw this afternoon. And the third foul now on Cody McMahon.
2 shots.
Akanawa, a freshman, one of 5 on the roster for Duke. Under 4th-year head coach Kara Lawson, who replaced so much of her roster from a season ago. What her and her staff have done to bring Duke onto the cusp of a Sweet 16, nothing short of incredible. Here is J.C. Sheldon.
They got to score quickly.
Down 11. Sheldon, high off the window, no. Parks the rebound, jump ball. And the possession arrow. Well, hang on a second. Was it a jump ball? It was a jump ball, and the possession arrow to Duke, and timeout taken by Kara Lawson.
So once again, the Blue Devils can advance the ball. They don't have to worry about turning it over right underneath Ohio State's basket. What an impressive finish to this game by the Blue Devils. Defensively, they did not allow Ohio State to ever settle into an offensive rhythm in this half. They didn't allow Ohio State open three-point opportunities, and they took better care of the ball in the second half. You look at the rebounding. I mean, so many different elements of this stat sheet right now. A +17 margin in favor of Duke. They were so disciplined defensively, and that's what allowed them to get things going on offense.
Megan, Duke went 11 minutes without a field goal in the first half. At that point, you and I were looking at each other wondering, is Ohio State going to run away with this thing? But Kara Lawson's group, we've said it a couple of times, it's worth repeating, the resilience that they have shown all year and in this tournament, again, showing itself with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line.
And with so many new players coming into this game, into this program, it takes a while to get on court chemistry, but Duke has been able to gradually build it over the year, and now it's paying off in the biggest way possible.
8 freshmen and sophomores on this Duke roster. Sheldon, a 3, puts it in, and a timeout taken by Kevin McGuff. Well, if this is the final game for J.C. Sheldon in an Ohio State uniform, today she passed Taylor Hill for 6th all-time on the scoring list. Was an All-American honoree and a semifinalist for the Naismith Player of the Year, and they are reviewing whether or not that was a 3, checking to see if her foot was on the line.
We'll be adding 12.7 on the clock. Thank you.
And the clock as well. So they've added 0.7 of a second onto the clock. Remember, Duke does have 2 timeouts. And they will call it to advance the basketball across midcourt.
Oh yeah, that's a 3. No
Deep
question.
3. So 12.7 seconds on the clock. J.C. Sheldon with 13 points, 4 assists. What a career at Ohio State. All Big Ten, All-American, 6th all-time in the scoring, and will be playing in the WNBA in the not-too-distant future. Hoping for a miracle here. They get it into Jackson, who's fouled by Theory, and Taylor Theory's day is finished. The 3rd Buckeye to foul out this afternoon. And she will join Celeste Taylor and Rebecca Mikolashikova on the bench.
This is an Ohio State team that did so much this season to win the Big Ten outright, one of the hardest conferences in the country, Power 5 wise. A lot of great relationships built, and I know a lot of disappointment for them. They had a fabulous season. They have a lot to be proud of with this year.
No doubt. First outright Big Ten regular season championship in 14 years. Sheldon 3, no. And the Duke Blue Devils are dancing on to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2018. What a comeback. The 7 seed Duke Blue Devils trailed by as many as 16 in the first half and overcome that deficit to take down the 2 seed Ohio State Buckeyes. And their name in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2018. They will take on the winners of UConn and Syracuse. For our producer, Tony DeSanti, our director, Eric Swearingen, our stats man, Kevin Burgee, Megan McHugh, and I'm Matt Schumacher saying so long from Columbus.